Vlad, my problem I've realized with your Ukrainian war political philosophy is really simple. It's actually really simple. And I'll try to make this really short. I think you are subscribing to a very simplistic great man view of history. I mean, I know you're an expert in Putin, like really an expert. But you treat politicians as if they are, like, shining masculine heroes of, like, worldly action, right? Like, you actually buy into all the mythology that they themselves buy into, and so many people do. And to be sure, there is some dimension in which politicians and officials are meaningful actors, right? It's a paradox, for sure. But deep down, the reality of officials and politicians is they're getting dragged along behind the flow of history. They're not driving it. Nobody drives history. You swim in the river. You don't change its course. Like, officials and politicians are like, they're like a child in the backseat of a car playing with a steering wheel stuck on the back of the driver's seat. And I actually am worried that there's a lot of stuff that you're really helpful with in the tonal approach you take and the patience that you encourage and the compassion that you encourage for all sides. But I am worried that essentially you're politically possessed and feeding political possession, because you're encouraging people to see the world as more rational than it is. And you're encouraging people to see agency where there isn't really agency. And this is tricky and paradoxical, I realize. Like, I'm not saying nobody should do politics, but it's a hopeless folly for the most part, like a necessary evil, but I guess that's it. It's just, I fundamentally don't see causality in the way that you do. I mean, there is no causality, I would say, fundamentally. I mean, I know our bodies, trapped in time and space as they are, in the living moment, we have to take causality seriously, but the more you reflect on your higher consciousness, the more you must realize that it makes no sense, that there are no causes or effects. Deep down, there's just a field of synchronistic events unfolding. And I'll put it dramatically like that to really underline the fundamental disagreement I have with your approach to politics, I guess, but particularly this war, because it's only in this Ukrainian war that I just fundamentally disagree with your position and your taking of sides in a black and white way, and essentially seeming to imagine that Putin is the problem, not history itself.